Hi, first grade. Mrs. Klein here to do a read aloud with you today. And we have been learning so much about butterflies. It is one of my favorite things to teach about, and I love learning new things about them. I am going to be reading a book to you today that is a nonfiction book. I know yesterday Mrs. Zintek read to you a realistic fiction book, and it was about a little spot in a garden where the little girl planted some flowers and was able to attract some specific types of butterflies. And the specific type of butterfly that was attracted to that was the monarch butterfly. So, my book today is going to be about the monarch butterfly, and it is right here, and it is called Caterpillar to Butterfly. It was written through the National Geographic Kids, and it is part of the Look and Learn series, and it is through Scholastic. So I'm going to be reading this to you today, and what I want you to do while I'm reading is to try to make sure that the information that I'm reading in this book is the same as what you've been learning about the different stages of the life cycle that Mrs. Gaetani had been talking to you about in her morning meeting video. Okay, friends, so let's get into this book together. Caterpillar to Butterfly. And I just love the photographs that they use in this book, and I wanted to make sure that you got to see them. So I'm going to be reading, and then I'll show you the pictures very close. A pretty orange, black, and white butterfly lands on a flower. So they're showing us a label here that this is a monarch butterfly, and it landed on a milkweed plant. Monarch butterflies lay eggs on milkweed plants. So here is a zoomed out version of what the milkweed plant looks like, and it's showing steps to the egg being laid. So here's the milkweed plant. There's the egg, a little bit zoomed in, sitting on the plant. And then this tiny little caterpillar comes out. So it says, guess what? The monarch butterfly's eggs hatch in 4 days. So in just 4 days, this little guy, okay, this little guy came out of that egg. Okay, the caterpillar in the life cycle of a monarch butterfly is known as the larva stage. Okay, so the stage 1 was egg, okay, which we see here. And then right here is the beginning of the larva stage. Okay, so that'd be stage 2. Okay, it says the hungry little caterpillar eats the milkweed leaves. It grows bigger and bigger. So even though the caterpillar's size has changed significantly, it is still part of the larva stage. The big striped caterpillar is finished growing. Now it attaches itself to a twig using a pad of silk. And it says, guess what? As the monarch caterpillar makes its silk pad, it looks like the letter J. And it is preparing for something. Can you guess what is going to be coming next? Pause the video and think about that. Okay, are you back? All right, let's see if you're right. What stage do you think is coming next? Say chrysalis? Yes, or you could say the pupa stage. So the caterpillar turns into a special hard shell called a chrysalis. Now here we see pictures that are showing you some up-close images of what's going on. So here we see that the chrysalis is only covering a tiny little bit of the caterpillar's body. The picture in the middle is showing you that it is about halfway up, And then by this picture, you see that it is completely covered. Okay, it's completely covered up and it's all inside the chrysalis, and something amazing is going to happen. And I think you know what that is. The caterpillar changes into a monarch butterfly inside the chrysalis. Now, here it says, guess what? Another name for a chrysalis is pupa. And I did mention that to you before, and I know Mrs. Gaetani has been talking to you about that as well. And what I think is so super cool about this is that once it gets so close to being the end of the pupa stage, you can start to see through the chrysalis and start to see the beautiful colors of the wings beginning to show through. And I think that that is one of the most incredible things about how butterflies change. Do you remember what that special word is that Mrs. Hebel talked to you about on Monday morning? That talks about the change that occurs inside the chrysalis. It's a very, very fancy word. It begins with the sound. Do you remember what that word was? Metamorphosis. Yes. So it's going through all of these changes, and it's a process called metamorphosis. All right. The new butterfly crawls out of the chrysalis. Okay. Here you can see that the butterfly is not out of the chrysalis yet. It is almost ready to come out, but not quite yet. Okay. This next picture shows the butterfly pushing its way out a little bit from its chrysalis. And finally, here you can see that it's almost all the way out of its chrysalis. Okay. And you can see the detail on that, which is really cool. The monarch butterfly's wings are folded and soft. Guess what? The caterpillar changed into a butterfly in about 10 days. The butterfly stretches its wings as they grow stronger. And we know that the wings need to dry out. That's why they like to, hang there and let them dry in the sun, and then they'll be ready to do what? The pretty orange and black butterfly flies away. Guess what? Monarch butterflies visit flowers to drink sweet juice called nectar. Um, One of the things that we would do if we were in school, since we might not have, the flowers readily available, you can actually put little slices of orange or strawberry inside if you're, doing a butterfly garden indoors, and they will actually sit there and drink from that juice. So it tastes sweet to them, just like the flowers would on the milkweed plant. Okay, so this is the last page of the book, and it says, can you point to each part of a butterfly's life? Now, here we have it's showing 5 different things, but 2 of them are within the same stage of its life cycle. So if you're thinking that the egg is one of them, and that you're right, the egg is first. And then comes the caterpillar stage, which is the larva stage. But there are 2 of those. So there's the tiny one and the large caterpillar, but they are still both part of the larva stage. And then the third part is the chrysalis or the pupa stage. And then finally, it becomes an adult butterfly. So when you are finished with this, what I thought you could do is try to make your own version of a butterfly life cycle and I'm going to show you how I worked with my daughter to do it. I just had her draw some pictures of what she learned in this book, and you can do that too. And then you can draw some arrows to show the order of them going around in a circle, very similar to what Mrs. Gaetani showed you on Monday morning. So if you need a reference, you can go back to Mrs. Gaetani's morning meeting video from Monday, the 18th.
I'm going to draw an arrow, okay, from stage 1 egg to the stage 2 for the caterpillars. And then from the caterpillar stage to the pupa stage is also known as the chrysalis. And then to when it becomes an adult. And then the adult lays the eggs.
So I hope you enjoyed this book. And if you'd like to take a picture of the life cycle that you draw and submit it, we would love to see your awesome drawing. Okay? Have a great rest of your day, friends. Bye.